Wholesome Opportunity Affinity Group within PepsiCo. Our mission is to inform and educate associates about wholesome, natural, organic products and lifestyles. PepsiCo has 3 committees: Self, Community, and Company. We have had several exciting events in Q4 with the Self Committee leading the Q4 Ready, Step, Move Challenge. We're in our last week of the competition, where associates from all of the company have tracked their steps via various devices. So whether it's a Fitbit, a Jawbone, Misfit Shine, etc., there are over 17 teams, and we've walked over 8 million steps so far. And we wanted to end our last week with a special guest speaker to help us keep up the great work, especially as we enter the holidays. So a special thank you for Joey Savidra on behalf of Pepsi Grow for reaching out to our guest speaker, who graciously accepted this offer to speak to us. I'll keep the introduction short, since I'm sure everyone is well aware Mr. Lewis's incredible achievements. But for a quick highlight, Carl Lewis has won 10 Olympic medals in track and field, including 9 gold, including 4 at the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, and 10 World Championships medals, including 8 gold. His career spanned from 1979 to 1996, when he won his last gold medal and retired. In 2001, Mr. Lewis was inducted into the USA Track and Field Hall of Fame. Around that same time, Sports Illustrated named him Olympian of the Century, while the International Olympic Committee named him Sportsman of the Century. So Mr. Lewis has been very busy since he retired as both an actor and an active community leader across the country. And we are just thrilled to have you here today for a few minutes. And thank you so much for taking time away from your busy schedule to join us.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone.
So I thought what we could do is just ask you a few questions, so that we know we just only have you here for a few minutes. So one of the reasons why we have this competition, we've had a couple throughout the year, is to really help create just a friendly spirit of competition and get people that maybe that aren't that active moving, and even those that are super active. We even have people doing marathons that are also. But it's all about just becoming more active, and what can you do more than you have done in the past. So we thought it'd be great just to hear from you in terms of what do you do to keep yourself motivated? It seems like you've stayed super fit since you stopped being in the Olympics, obviously. But what do you do to keep yourself fit?
Well, actually, it's kind of interesting. I think it goes hand in hand. You have to kind of have a reason why. And so I just started coaching added on to all the other things that I do just recently. And I've always stayed in shape because I like the way I look, the way it feels, and that's it. But right now, I have a really unique perspective of what I'm doing. I ride a bike.
Conference record. Has joined the conference.
And that's kind of the basis of it. So I'll go at least an hour, sometimes up to 2 hours, and that's 5 to 7 days a week. So that's my aerobic. But in order to make it kind of interesting, I wanted to start stretching, because when I competed as an athlete, I did not stretch. I thought it was overrated, so I didn't do it. I was one of those things like, I did it this morning, what am I doing it again for? So now that I'm older, I understand the importance of that, because I started seeing some of my classmates look like Quasimodo. So so I started working with a friend of mine who's actually 75. I'm 53, and she got into doing what's called a circus workout. So what we do is that, other than the riding in the morning, 4 days a week, one day I'll do sometimes gyrotonics, which is like Pilates, that kind of thing. But I'll do aerial silks. I don't know if people don't know what that is. It's like Cirque du Soleil, those ribbons that people pull themselves up on.
Oh.
I'll do that 1 day a week, which basically is an hour and a half class, but 30 minutes of stretching. I do trapeze bar 1 day a week. I do tumbling 1 day a week, and I do trampoline 1 day a week.
Wow.
So that's kind of my strength and aerobic stuff. But what inspires me to do that, and what is the one thing that keeps me going? I never stretch. Everyone knows it. When they go see and hear about it, they're going to say, that can't be you because you don't stretch. So my goal is to do a split both ways when I'm 55.
Oh, my God.
So I better get started now, because I have a long way to go.
Wow. So that's really surprising. I was expecting you to say you're running, X number of miles a day. So that's really interesting to hear that you really vary your workout. That's great.
Yeah, I do. And you know what? I never liked to run. I mean, it's funny how I hear distance runners, I'd love to go out for a run, and I get the runner's high. And for me, anything longer than I could hold my breath was a runner's low, okay? So I never did it. I don't like jogging. I don't like distance running. That's just me. And that's what I like. But I like riding the bike, and I do not like to ride inside. So, and I think it's the speed aspect. Jogging to me is like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm going nowhere. But when I'm on a bike and I'm outside, I don't have music. I'm in the elements, and I just get out there, and I'll go for an hour or 2 hours, and that's fine. And Houston, where I live, there's so much going on downtown, and there's so many bike trails and places to go that I'm just watching. I'm learning neighborhoods. So I'm riding here. Oh, that's a new trail, and I'll go and I say, wow, look at that new apartment building, a new complex, or new train station. So it's really fascinating to kind of get to know Houston downtown and the surrounding areas on a bike, because I live near downtown, and so that makes it even more interesting that I'm actually learning the city while I exercise.
So I know you do a lot of traveling. So what do you do? And there's a lot of folks on the call as well that travel a lot. So what do you do when you travel?
Well, obviously I don't get there and, say, hey, where's the bike? But I'll go to the gym and I'll walk on the treadmill and something like that. Or sometimes I'll find out if there's a place that does those kind of exercises, and I'll go for a class. Because it's surprising how many cities have a place that you can go get a silks class or a trapeze class or something like that, or gyrotonics, and sometimes it's even in a hotel. So that's kind of what I'll do. And I watch my diet all the time, even when I travel.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the toughest pieces is when you travel, is being able to kind of maintain that self-discipline. So,
but here's the thing. I don't. You have to have 3 reasons to want to lose weight. You really, and to keep yourself in shape. One, we know our health. Okay, great, throw it out. And then one, maybe, I want to see my kids graduate. But you have to have the 3rd reason, or I don't want to be fat. Most people have 2 reasons, and it's not enough. For me, I feel good and all of that. And number 2, this is really a terrible thing to say, but I'm going to say it. You walk into a room, it's great for people to say, gosh, I recognize you and remember you. Because, I competed 17 years ago, and many of my contemporaries, I'm like, is John in there? And it's just terrible what happens to so many athletes. And it's great to come in. And one time this woman said to me, it was years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, she said, you're like a song. And I'm like, okay, like an old song? And I'm like, okay, good grace, I'm not that old, Like I felt like I was Beethoven or something. But she really said is that, when you hear an old song and it takes you back to that moment, she said, when I see you, I go back to that moment. So that's kind of inspiration for me to look like the person that they grew up watching or remember racing, and it kind of takes them back there. But if I come in, 100 pounds heavy, it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Turn and laugh, really. And so that's part of my inspiration.
That's great. That's awesome. So, and then I guess another question I think you've touched on a little bit, but maybe you can expand on a little bit, is just the motivating yourself. So it sounds like what you just said really helps motivate you. Is there anything else that helps motivate you to, let's face it, sometimes it's tough, and especially depending where you live in the country, it's a little easier. If you live in San Diego, California, you don't really have much excuse for not working out with the weather. But if you're living in Buffalo this week, it might be a little rough to actually get a workout in. So what are some of the things you do to motivate yourself?
Well, you know what? I agree. That's why I moved from New Jersey. But anyway, to Houston. But no, it is tough. But you have to think of that when the weather is good. You realize, because my thing was, I'm 53, and I said, you know what? I'm in the house for 2 months a year. So basically, my clock is ticking so fast. I need 12 months, not 10 months a year. And so that was kind of my motivation. But what you have to do is, when the weather is nice, you have to think about, what am I going to do when it isn't? It is an annual plan to stay in shape. So you either have to have the gym or have something. And one of the things I do, I try to get a certain amount of steps in every day. I have I have a Nike fuel band. So I like to watch Monday Night Football. Okay, it's great. So that's my day. So what I will do, instead of sit down and watch the game and have chips, I will actually walk during the game. I'll walk in place during the game. So that's it. So now all of a sudden, what are you going to normally do at the game? Even if I normally do it by myself, I don't invite people over or whatever. I'll just have a place where I just walk in place, and I can walk 10,000 steps in a game. You know, if you're in the game and you're cheering, you don't even realize it. And it's not hard, but just find things like that. You know, everyone has a time where they can create a ritual that they do to themselves. What if it is the football game on Sunday, or maybe you can do, put a TV in front of the treadmill and say, you know what? Every time my college team plays a game, I'm going to walk on the treadmill for the whole game. It'll go by. You'll create a ritual that you do, and then understand that you're creating this ritual in June because you're going to need it in December.
That's great. Well, speaking of December, I think most of us have a really tough time. Thanksgiving is a kickoff for the holiday season, and I think I've read things anywhere from most Americans gain 6 to 10 pounds of weight during the holidays. So, and depending on your family background, mine is all about food. So we live for the holidays. So, any thoughts with regards to the upcoming holidays and any kind of things you've done to kind of keep yourself from gaining 7 pounds?
well, here's the thing. What I say for the holiday is get a smaller plate, because and then fill the plate, and you have to go, because I'm not a big person on dessert, so I'm fortunate with that. But if you like a certain dessert or something, like say, oh my God, I don't want to eat all the pie and all the cakes and everything, then bring something. Even if it's family, go and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to go get a fruit salad for the dinner. Who's going to turn it down? And then when the meal is over, you go over and eat the fruit salad, and I guarantee you, people will do it. Whenever I go to a dinner party, I take a healthy, either a salad or something like that. And you'd be surprised how many people would eat less cake and more fruit. So my suggestion is invite yourself to make some healthy things or bring healthy things, even with the family. Say, Mom, this year I want to bring the fruit salad, or next year I want to make instead of deep frying the turkey, maybe I'll do this. And therefore you add healthy portions into the meal, and then get a smaller plate and do it. And then understand you're going to eat more at this time. So what am I going to do to kickstart back to where I was tomorrow? And just understand it, because you're not supposed to be in this place where, oh my God, it's purgatory every day. No, I enjoy myself, and sometimes when I see something, if I'm at a barbecue, because I don't eat like that, and I see something that looks really good, you know what, I will go right over and eat it. I say, well, that looks good. And then, maybe for myself, well, forget I'll put the other thing down and I'll just drink water, or I'll get less of this. I think you're supposed to have the pleasures. If you don't, it isn't worth it. Look, food is good to everyone. Even people that don't eat a lot of it, food is still good, so you should enjoy it.
I agree. I think we're nodding our heads. Absolutely, we agree with everything you're saying. So everyone on the phone, it's great advice in terms of as we finish this competition, and I think a lot of us have made incredible strides in just our overall health. That as we look forward to the next few weeks, continuing that motivation to keep those steps going, as well as getting creative with our solutions in terms of making sure we don't overindulge too much, but make sure we don't deprive ourselves either, so we can make sure that we can actually stay on track. So this has been great. I know you have to jump off, and we just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. It's been great having you today, and we really wish you the best.
Great, thank you. Now, here's one piece of advice. You're not going to like this one.
Okay.
Put a mirror where you can see everything from your knees up, close to your shower, where you cannot hide from it.
You're right, I don't
Thank you. From your knees up, a mirror near the shower. Really. And I know it's mean and horrible, but you get out and you're like, are you kidding me? So do it.
Well, I'll have to. All right. Thank you for that advice. We'll have to consider that for sure. So, well, good luck. I think you're in Miami, and good luck with all your meetings today. And thank you again.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.